Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Coby, today is the day.
Yes, it is.
It all comes down to the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, but I can't say that because I am an original Philadelphian. We do not say those things. So I'm not going to say anything beyond the fact today is Super Bowl Sunday.
Listen, I just want to say I am a diehard Eagles fan. I have seen every game they've been in, especially in the Super Bowl. I do not miss an Eagles game. I don't care where I am in this nation. I do not miss an Eagles game. So I'm excited. We're about an hour and a half away from kickoff. It's going to be a great day. I can feel the energy in the air already. And I'm going to say that next week, I may have to take a day off. Yeah, well,
you will take a day off because you'll be celebrating. But, you know, it's funny. I invited a lot of members from our congregation to the house, and I'm going to be frying food and cooking. And we're going to all be at my house and just having fun. We're going to have so much excitement. I'm just excited. And for those of you who are watching this, there's so much negativity going on, especially with this Trump syndrome that's happening. Just take a brief moment to just enjoy the game. Now, it's going to be tense because they're not playing any what do they call it? A wounded team. The team is pretty good, but I think people are tired of them at this point. They've been there 3 times and they're just a little tired of them now. So we're going to see how it all turned out. I got on my favorite player now. McCoy was my favorite player for so long. And now he has been replaced with my favorite player. I'm going to say his name because it's important to not say his name during this day.
I will say I love the way how McCoy has supported him. Yeah. Especially in his first season with the Eagles. Again, shout out to the New York Giants.
I knew you was going to do that.
Office.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
For not wanting to pay this man what he was valued and making fun of him, saying he wouldn't be able to be successful anywhere, regardless of what happens later today. He has had one of the most successful seasons ever by a running back. And I believe only like 134 yards away from breaking the overall record with playoffs involved.
Can I just give a little bit of suggestion? And this is not Coby saying this is Dr. Curry saying it. Whenever you tell a real committed African-American they're not worth something and they'll never be something, they becomes 2 times better than. That's just how we do it in our community. I want to get started with the news because people, when I heard that, I was like, oh, he's going to light them up. And he did. He really did. Today, I'm also glad to report during our time together, there are no shootings that were reported that we are aware of. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this. Policing, I do see more police out too, Coby. When I'm driving around the city, when I'm in my section of the city, I see more policing. I'm hopeful that their training continues to grow strong, but that's good. That's good news that there was no reported shootings this weekend, and we're going to continue that segment in our show. However, I do want to follow up, if you don't mind, on last week when we talked about the police officer who shot a gentleman at 10th and Kirkwood Street. I don't know if there's any more information on it, but I want to keep that in front of us because I made some very serious comments about let's not rush to judgment. But the first question I want to ask you: have the cameras been released?
No. So body-worn camera footage has not been released and probably will not be released until the use of force report, which is a standard report whenever you have officer-involved shooting or police brutality is completed by the Department of Justice, which is headed by Kathy Jennings.
Okay, good. And also, and I'll say good in that at least we're in standard. It's a standard. It's not something they're trying to hold back and we don't know. But do you think they will release it once that report comes out, regardless of the report?
Yeah. So usually what is done is once the report has been issued, they bring in both sides. So the police department of the police officer that they were investigating, and then the family of whoever the victim is, right? Or the victim themselves, if they are still alive, like in this case, will come in and get an opportunity to view the body-worn camera footage, and then it will be released with the report online on the DOJ's website. There's case files up there that you can go and click on and read the full report, and then they'll have a link to the body-worn camera footage.
And that's really what we were really trying to do with this show. We try to just make sure we give the information. As long as people are following standard procedure, there's no need for uproar. But once it is out, then we will analyze what we see. But right now we're in that investigative stage, and there's no more information. And that's all I want to make sure that those of you who are watching us are paying attention to. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's just wait. And if there's some shady business going on, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to see it. And that's when we're going to react. You get more power when you do it that way. The one more thing I want to do an update on. A couple of years ago, there was a killing. A 67-year-old man was killed. I think his name was James Pinkett. And they did arrest. There was a cold case, and the Wilmington police did arrest two gentlemen on that for that case. And they were very young guys. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. So they arrested two men. First off, the James Pinkett incident that resulted in his death happened in around Christmas 2019. Okay. And he was shot to death. The two young men both are 22 years old as of today. If you do the math, 2019, they were about 16-year-olds when they actually committed the crime. They are both behind bars at Howard R. Young Correctional Institution. And again, they're being held on bail. This happened on East 29th Street on December 28th, 2019. And again, it is so sad that it has taken so long, but I do hope that the family is now relieved a little bit. This happened it happened over in the Riverside neighborhood. And James's nephew was actually only a block away and actually saw the shooting as well too. So again, hopefully this brings some closure to the family and everything. But again, I do want to say hats off to the officers of our cold case unit who have been working on cases like this and trying to get them solved. Yeah,
and I just want to, for those of you who are watching us, please note, we are bringing you the information because we're quick to criticize when they are not doing their jobs, as they are continuously going through these cases. This one was allegedly solved because it still has to be proven in court. But I am very much interested in making sure that we bring as much information to the front so you'll know what's going on. And I really like the way we're reporting information now, because now we just, whether we got information behind the scene or not is not important. What's important is the facts that are on the street. One last thing I want to cover in this segment, and this is really interesting because I looked at the church's bill and with Delmarva, and as well as my personal House bill with Delmarva, and it is out of control, more out of control in my personal than it is even with the business. Now, I don't understand that too much. The business got way more money than I have. but what do you know about what's going on with this whole Delmarva situation?
Yeah, so across the state, there has been a spike in everyone's Delmarva's bills from your basic actual bill, and then added on was a huge delivery fee, in which in some cases either matched or exceeded your overall bill that you have for that month, right? And no one can really explain what led to this happening in January and why our bills went up so high when we got them this month. But again, these higher than normal electric and gas bills for some people as well too, has raised a lot of concerns. A letter from the Democratic House Caucus was sent to the Delaware Public Advocate to investigate what's going on. Delmarva really had no answer other than to say, hey, it's just a revised bill format.
What do you mean a revised bill format? What do you mean? Not when I'm used to paying $125, now I'm paying $225. That's not just a revised.
Again, Delmarva apparently implemented this for its winter rate structure, which increased some rates by up to 3%. But again, I saw almost 100% increase.
Yes.
So again, I am waiting to hear what they say back. Now, the Republicans, on the other hand, are blaming it on a renewable energy. And I just want to talk about that real quick.
Sure.
So the renewable energy bill that was passed in 2023 to move our goals towards using more renewable energy has a cap in it, right? So the cap is no more than $10 additional to be added on for compliance fees, right? That is, you're not going to see that impacted like we are seeing with this delivery fee right here. So that is not what is causing this. They did not want to cause any undue stress on your budget when they passed that renewable energy. And a lot of people fought to make sure that that was in there. Now, Delmarva in turn has announced that they will not be charging you a late fee for January or for February.
Okay.
Even though in my eyes, you already charged me for February and into March as well too. But they're also going to announce energy assistance program that is going to help people who can't pay the bills that have recently come out.
But see, the problem is we have to get to the root of the issue. The issue is they put on a delivery fee charge, and that charge is very expensive. To tell me you're not going to charge me for a late fee, people like me who pay their bill on time because they don't want it cut off, because we know if they see the yellow envelope. Matter of fact, I don't want people to know the yellow envelope came to my house. You're gonna get it cut off.
Exactly.
So most people done paid it, and some people have been disconnected. While I do agree that the poor, you want to try to help them the best you can, I want to deal with the root. The root is, why is it that the delivery charge have been so expensive?
Right.
And if that cannot be answered, then that's a problem. If they cannot give you a response to that, that's a problem. How come Delmarva has such a capital over the state of Delaware?
Because we're a pro-business state, and we have a lot of elected officials on the state level who have pushed to help build monopolies here, whether it's in this arena, utility arena, development. It's not good for society. And what it does, it creates the opportunity for them to just continue to raise the prices and get away with it because people have no other option. Now, there are smaller operators here that we could work with, but I don't even know if they have the infrastructure to handle as many houses in residential areas and businesses that Delmarva has right now. It would probably take some scale up time. Yeah,
well, even with scale up time, are you talking about years or months?
Probably a few years, yeah.
Well, then it's time to get it started because you have children and other people coming behind us, and it's just too much. We should not have one organization being able to do what they want to do. And then their answer is, I have no answer.
Right.
We do need to change that. And then I'm told, now there's some smaller companies here. In order for me to go with another company, power company, I would have to get that approved through my city or through my county?
Yeah, so that's a negotiation between, if you live in an unincorporated part of Newcastle County, it would be county council and the state who would negotiate that for you. If you live in an incorporated area, that's, again, your municipality, council, town, supervisors, whatever makeup they have, and the mayor or whoever the executive is in the area, that would be on them to kind of negotiate that as well too.
Does any of the residents of Wilmington have those other power companies?
No, not that I know of.
So it is strictly Delmarva.
Yes.
So would city council have to pass a resolution, or would the executive, the mayor, have to try to set up some kind of, I'm just trying to understand the process for those people who are struggling right now.
So it would have to probably be a negotiation with another operator to see if they're willing to come into the city. And then once they get to that part, we would have to bid it out. And go through the bidding process.
And I think they understand how long this would take and how much work it would take and effort and energy and uncertainty. That's why they're able to do what they want to do. But we need to be able to hold them accountable. So that's almost like saying that needs to be dealt with on the state level, where we need to be able to say, you know what, you either do what you got to do, Mr. Delmarva, or we need to go ahead and just start the process.
Yeah.
I mean, because even though they may be making the money now, if you can start the process, then they won't be making the money. And that's just really sad. Now, and I'm really kind of concerned about that. And it's just, just too much going on. And then the Republicans also added another little footnote to this, and it bothered me because it seemed like everybody's talking about DEI. Yeah. They then, at the end of their discussions of blame, they said it's because of DEI. How is that DEI?
Again, for everyone, I just want to explain to everyone, DEI has not had the impact in which a lot of people think it has had, right?
Now stop there for a second, because somebody is saying, I just heard him saying in my ear, what is DEI?
Diversity, equity, inclusion, right? It's initiatives. Right. A lot of it became a buzzword after the 2020 George Floyd protests, when we asked for cops to stop shooting us in the back, but instead we got companies who decided to change the Aunt Jemima on to paper mill on our favorite pancake and syrup, right? We asked them to stop beating us for having a broken taillight, and they changed the name of the Washington Redskins to the Washington Commanders.
That could be why they lost. But go ahead.
Well, no, they just not as good as my Eagles. But we asked for police reform, and we got other stuff. And then you look at DEI and how all these companies made all these promises to invest in Black businesses, invest in Black communities, and most of them have not committed or has not actually followed through with that commitment already. But then if you look at the positions in which they were hiring, oh yes, they hired a few people from HBCUs, just a few, but the vast majority of people who got hired in DEI roles or DEI hires were white women.
That's right. Same with affirmative action.
Right? So again, with affirmative action, the people who have been impacted the most by affirmative action has not been African Americans. It's been Asian Americans who've been impacted the most, right? So we have to look at how this is actually benefiting our community. And if they want to get rid of DEI, okay. But guess what? At the end of the day, I am still qualified for this role. I'm still going to fight for it. And if a company doesn't want to hire African Americans who we keep the economy going, our dollar stays in our pocket for 12 hours. So we spend it very quick. We keep this economy running. If you don't want to support Black people need to start coming together, pooling our dollar together, because we have a lot of buy power, right? And create our own companies. I'm not concerned with a Walmart who doesn't want to work with us anymore, or a Target who doesn't want to work with us. Let's create our own Target.
Yeah, we can. We have the creativity and ingenuity. Well, first we got to stop stabbing each other in the back to the level that we do. Yeah, that crab audience is just unbelievable, especially when you need it. But I'm with you. I just didn't understand why the Senate Republicans start saying it's a DEI thing. And I guess
so. DEI to them is the new word for CRT. The new word. They use all these words because they can't say NIGGER anymore. All right, they can't say the Negroes over there. They can't say the coloreds anymore, but this is their more professional way of saying it. And that's the sad part of it, right? They're using it as a code word, a dog whistle, a synonym to hide their racism.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, it's to the place where they're using it to hide and cover some of Elon Musk junk and all this other stuff. So they're just throwing up DEI. Matter of fact, I was looking at one of the Senate hearings, and one of the Republicans even talked about the trans, and she was using language that was, it was uncomfortable even to me as a pastor. And then she started getting very loud and out of order. We're really out of control right now. This country is really out of control right now. And I know in your corner, you're going to talk a whole lot about what's going on. And 3 weeks of a presidency, when it seems like it's 3 years. But I think I saw something, and I hope that our for next show, what's the guy name who went to jail, the big TV, not TV, but he's, oh man, I can't think of his name just slips me. But he does a big podcast, and he went to jail for a little bit because he's supporting Trump. And he's very controversial.
Not Rudy Giuliani.
No. This is
Joe Rogan.
No. Okay.
It's a lot of people who went to jail around Trump.
Yeah, well, everybody but him going to jail. But the point is, he said what we need to do in order to win, to flood, just keep piling thing after thing on, and people will not be paying attention to what you're doing, but they're paying attention to whatever you are saying. Like with Trump's conversation with the Israel prime minister, it's like he said so much junk that you forget about the Elon Musk that moved some of his cronies into the Treasury and doing some crazy stuff. So I don't know what's going on, but y'all voted for him. So yeah, and those are, and for every person, and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna go to a commercial break. To every person who said, "I'm staying home, I'm not voting, I'm not going to vote for this person, for Kamala Harris," you are the ones why Donald Trump sits in the White House today. And we'll be right back. Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you can do about it. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a real good conversation. I'm excited. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. Why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on. And let's get after it.
Christopher Holton. I'm very active. It was a Saturday morning. Normally I go for my normal walk.
With no warning, Chris suffered a near-fatal heart attack. But thankfully, Brian Buckley, a bystander, saw him collapse and rushed to help.
He did this big gasp for air and then just stopped. It's like I went into autopilot. It's like all that training I did back in the day around CPR just magically came out of nowhere.
Because of the CPR training that Brian received, Chris did make it and didn't die on the trail that day. CPR training provided by the American Heart Association.
Looking at your hands, these two hands could save a life.
Being a father, you want to be around. You want to be around for your kids.
Heart disease is America's #1 killer. To learn more about how the American Heart Association helps save lives, go to helpheart.org.
Not today.
I'm here. You can tell me anything.
I see you. We're in this together.
Breakthroughs are happening.
Treatments are evolving.
The stats can change.
Society can change.
We can all say, not today.
Not today.
Not today. Not today. Not today.
If we're together, bound to be better. When we're together.
And we're back. Just before we go into this Coby corner, I do remember who the person was now. It's Steve Bannon. He's the one who said, throw a lot of stuff at him. In 2019, he said that. And then you would just flood it up and you'll be able to take back over your country. And that's what they're doing right now. Yep. All right, that's all I want to do because I didn't want to seem like I was losing it. But Brother Coby, what's going on with the Coby corner? I know you got a whole lot.
Yeah, so I want to start with President Elon Musk, the unelected billionaire who has now made a very concerning move. Well, all his moves have been very concerning, but this one in particular. Recently, there was a vote to confirm the new Secretary of Treasury. And as he moved into his office, so did Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has taken over the 5th floor of Treasury. And housed on the 5th floor is extensive data on millions and millions of individuals. That is where our pay records are. And some people may say, what is a pay record? Because they keep saying this. Your pay record to the government is your taxes. Your social security number is attached to that. Information about you is attached to that. He now has full access and has locked out The Secretary of Treasury doesn't even have access to it. That's how much power he has right now through this Department of Government Efficiency, or in short, DOGE. He has data to Medicaid services, to Medicare information. Again, this is insane and unusual for someone to be unconfirmed, be unelected, to have this much power, one sole person to have this much power over all of our information. He also has full access to the employee data of the Office of Personnel Management right now. As we're recording this show, we are just a few hours away from the federal deadline, right?
Right.
In which they sent to personnel throughout different departments saying, if you don't 100% agree with Donald Trump, here's a pre-drafted letter of resignation for you. All you have to do is sign the date and your name and write your name at the top, and we will we'll offer you a buyout for a few months, and then you won't be a federal employee anymore.
Wow.
So that they can bring in loyalists to President Trump.
But that's not even legal. This is not a private business. That's the federal government.
It is.
And people think that because he was able to run a private business that way, that it's going to get away with it. But I hope the lawsuits are coming strong.
Oh, well, there's multiple lawsuits that have been filed. Apparently, the personnel information has also been leaked about the FBI agents who investigated the January 6th individuals, and throughout the DC office, but all the field offices as well too. Multiple agents are now retiring and suing the federal government already, because it puts their lives in harm's way. They were doing their job. Trump and Elon Musk still says that January 6th was very peaceful. I don't know how. I know what I saw. They are lucky that they didn't look like me, because I don't think Capitol Police would have showed so much restraint with their firearms. Which is crazy, because we had just under a microscope saw cops still killing Black people. But yet when they are attacking, wanting to hang the vice president of the United States of America, you saw nothing. You saw nothing.
Peaceful day. They were just
peaceful day. Senators, Republican senators running for their life, now saying, oh, they weren't scared. That same day, Ron Johnson getting on the floor and saying, oh, if it was Black Lives Matter, I would have feared for my life. But he knew it was just his cousins. So again, this is what we're dealing with. And Elon Musk, again, barked this election. He spent $250 million to buy his influence with Trump, to have this much power. And he's trying to do it in other countries. And the one country who has stood up to him and said, oh no, we not doing that again, was Germany.
Yeah, unbelievable.
They said, been there, done that. Yeah. We learned from our history.
Yeah.
America, I guess y'all, that's why it's been so big for the Republicans to get on school boards to erase history. Because, critical race theory, we don't want to teach the kids that there was bad things done in the past. But if you don't know your history, then you're doomed to repeat it.
That's right. Yeah.
And we're repeating it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, they didn't want a DEI hire in the White House.
But let me just say this to you. When you start talking about Musk, and especially the federal resignations and the FBI agents who are now being removed, do you know that's a huge security national risk?
Yeah.
The people don't understand. You sit in your house today comfortable, and we just think about our local policing. But when you start dealing with all those terrorist attacks and the people who are trying to attack America, for us not to take this serious is just, I can't believe, it's deafening, not hearing the protests and not seeing the people out there. Now, when the Prime Minister of Israel came, sure, they protest that. But we're really too complacent. Do you think we just wore out? I don't know. What is the issue?
People are beat down. I mean, we have been dealing with the tactics of MAGA for 12 years. We, from the very moment that Trump either started considering running for office and started building that base all the way back, in 2013, after Obama was just sworn in again, And then when he came down that escalator in 2015 and announced that he was running, it just has taken off, and people are tired. They're worn down. There's no centralized leader because people care more about building their own selves up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people who I work with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this about them as well, too. They care about building themselves up instead of the actual movement at hand. And then you look at this election cycle. People, and some people who sat right in this room as well, too, said, don't vote.
I know. Yeah.
Don't vote. The Democrats and Republicans are the same.
Mm-hmm. And this is what we get.
And have the Democrats delivered on everything they campaigned on? Absolutely not. Will I be critical of them? Absolutely. Am I one of the highest ranking Democrats in this nation? Am I in the inside? I guess so. I am a DNC member. I'm one of 448 people who get to help try to direct the Democratic National Party, right? Mm-hmm. And I still fight with them on the regular.
Absolutely.
But I also know that if we had a Kamala Harris in the White House right now, our information wouldn't be going to a billionaire.
And we don't know what he's going to do with that information.
We have no clue. We have no power.
He owes China a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Who is to say he's not the agent for China?
Right.
Where could anybody for the president of the United States to be as smart as he says he is? We know he's not, but as he says he is. And for him to have this kind of freedom, it's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know all of it. First of all, he's not been given clearance. So we don't know where all of his debt and assets are. So to be able to get access to that type of information is preposterous.
Exactly. We're in a time that we have never seen before. And I as I talk about Musk, I also want to talk about the federal resignation deadline.
Yeah.
A president usually gets about 4,000 political appointees. That's a lot. And then you don't know how many judgeships are going to come up and stuff like that. But just when you're building out your administration, you get about 4,000 picks. That's the average. As of right now, a little over 47,000 federal employees have already accepted the package, and we haven't hit the deadline.
But I don't know, before you go any further with that, and what you're reporting is what is reported out in the public.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, I don't know, and based on some of the commentary I've heard, I don't even know if the offer is legal. The question in my mind now, if it's not legal, do they go back to their jobs or do they just loss out?
No, because as soon as you sign that resignation letter, it's done.
Oh, my gracious.
Now, the buyout for the length that they're offering, that's the legality part of it, which they can very easily pull that back.
And if they pull it back, that means you resigned and don't get all that money?
Correct.
Oh, my gracious.
I have multiple friends right now who work in the federal government in different agencies. We've been friends for, over a decade, who are really struggling with should they do this or not, because they fear that if they don't and they stay and something comes out about them speaking out against Trump, they're going to face consequences like never before. Mm-hmm. And again, everyone's First Amendment right is being trampled on with this as well, too. So again, and they know, trust me, they know and understand what it means working in the federal government. They have been there for multiple years. Mm-hmm. They have been there through the first Trump administration, came in at the end of Obama, first Trump administration, Biden, and now they're really scared this second go round. So again, this is a tough decision about their careers, their futures, their families and everything. And it's not just DC. This is all across. We have federal workers all across America in most of the major cities as well, too. So again, this is very concerning to have such widespread layoffs like this. So I will be keeping you up to date once we get that final number of how many people took that payoff, how many open seats that Trump and his administration is going to be able to fill with merited individuals, which means if a Democratic president comes in, these people get to stay there unless they resign or get fired for doing something, but it has to be within the realm. Same thing happened with the Supreme Court. Trump stole 3 seats.
Yes, he did.
Well, he sold 2. One was legitimate. It happened in the middle of his term. That's fine. I'll give him that. But Mitch McConnell delayed a year into Obama's term, and then millions had already voted when Amy Coney Barrett was placed on the Supreme Court in late October of 2020. So again, that is what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you go to your next thing. All I'm concerned about is that we're not paying attention. We're going to sleep and we're driving forward. And I'm scared that there'll never be another election of president. I'm afraid that there will be the 2-party system is going to go down because the Democrats can't. They're not able to do anything. I heard some scuttlebutt, and you can maybe help me to understand it a little bit better. That they get ready to. They went into the Speaker's office. Can they stop these confirmations? Is there any way they can stop the?
They can delay them.
How long?
They can delay them for a few weeks, but not much longer than that. There's some procedural votes that can be used if Thune knows about them. I'm sure Mitch McConnell. Well, I don't know where Mitch McConnell stands on this. He may not want to help. But again, they're doing their research on what maneuvers they can use to kind of get around the Democrats holding up the confirmation.
Okay. All right.
So we'll see. A lot of Democrats have come out and said that they are no longer supporting any of Trump's picks after what has happened at Treasury.
Yeah. Okay.
So next, I want to talk about 8th grade literacy. So we have hit our literacy rate here in Delaware has hit a 27-year low.
That's horrible.
We did see a slight bump in the 4th grade math and reading, but we are still pretty low. In 4th grade reading proficiency, we only rank higher than Alaska and New Mexico. We are 47th, up 1 spot from before. New governor, Matt Meyer, and the new Secretary of Education have declared that this is going to be a priority for them. And they're calling it a literacy emergency following the release of these reports. Again, we are in the lower tier. We're in the lowest 10 states when it comes to just overall educational ranking. And this is going to be so critical because if you want to bring a new workforce to your state, to bring more revenue here, you have to be able to teach your kids how to be successful, right? And right now, Delaware's system is just not working, right?
Who put in the policy no homework? That's dumb.
I have no clue. I think it was Secretary Button.
How in the world can you think no homework? I mean, I don't know what to say. Because again, I am very hands-on at the PAL with the board and everything. So when we have our discussions about this and we try to talk with the different school districts, it is very concerning that most kids now have and they don't call it homework anymore. It's out of class time assignments. And if they do have them, they're optional. It's crazy.
And they try to justify saying it's because social emotional learning, it was adding undue stress. No, it was adding undue stress because you're not teaching the kids the proper things that they need to know. My teachers, they taught me well in the classroom. And then when I got home, it was repetitive. It taught me it gave me an opportunity to take it a little further. But guess what? I knew exactly how to do it because my teachers had already taught me.
Right. And that's what happened even with my daughter. You know, she still gets homework, a whole lot of hours of homework. I disagree that it's an emotional issue because many of us are successful today because of the way it was taught to us in that time. But there are times when my daughter is asking me for some assistance or asking my wife for some assistance. And what we notice is we ask her to explain to us what was the process. As she explained the process to us, she's now figuring out what the response is supposed to be. Yeah. I've noticed that. So for them to say the extra, whatever language you use, the homework is not appropriate, that is just hurting people especially people of color.
Yeah.
But it's just hurting. The school my daughter is in, they still have homework very strongly.
Mm-hmm. And before my time is up, I did want to talk about one more thing.
Sure.
So we had a property tax reassessment in all 3 counties. Tyler Technologies was hired by Newcastle County, Kent County, and Sussex County to do this reassessment based off a lawsuit that pretty much said that there was inequalities in our current assessed properties. And because it had been so long since the last time we had a mass assessment, those inequalities were exacerbated through this tax reassessment. We know that individuals who live in the city of Wilmington who have smaller properties so if you break it down by acreage, right? Mm-hmm. By percentage of acreage, we're being charged more per percentage of acreage in the city of Wilmington than someone who actually has dozens and dozens of acres out in Greenville and Centerville. So what does that mean? That means we will have to pay more in taxes than they will have to pay out there. Mm. So if I have 0.2 of an acre of land, let's say I'm supposed to pay $100 on it, right? Mm-hmm. Based off the, acreage. That's $50 per 10% of acreage, right? Someone out in Hocassin who has let's say, 0.9, right? Should have to pay, what's that, $450 dollars in taxes, right? They're paying $250.
Why?
So now either we're going to have to raise property taxes, which is going to be an even bigger burden on me because I don't make as much as them out there, right? So now you raise property taxes to bring in the revenue to keep us at neutral, at least, or if you're trying to get a profit out of it, you're going to raise it even higher, which means I'm still going to be paying more percentage out of my budget than they are out there. Even though they have a better piece of land than me, they may have multiple additional more bedrooms than me, more bathrooms than me. They may have a pool and stuff like that. It's no reason why they should be paying less percentage-wise than me, right? This system is backwards. I almost said a word I can't say on on TV. But again, it's causing a lot of issues. We did have a committee meeting on city council about this. There are a lot of residents who have been reaching out about this. Tyler Technologies has not responded to the city just yet. So again, we're going to keep pushing to make sure that we get some answers for this. There is an appeal process that ends on March the 4th, I believe. If you receive something in the mail, you have to read at the bottom of it. It has the website on it as well as what your account would be to file your appeal. Okay. But that is all I have for you today. We already talked about the Delmarva stuff, and my time is up.
Yeah, well, your time is up, but I do have one more question I want to ask you. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back in our whole political actions area. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution: freedom, justice, equality. The ACLU is leading the fight to protect our civil liberties. Together, we can protect and advance our rights nationwide, because we the people means all of us.
This land was made for you and me.
Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org.
Hey, boss. Okay?
He said I'm fine.
With the first did Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Life can throw a lot at us, but what helps us through it is knowing we have a place where we feel loved, grounded, and safe. A place where we belong. A place called home. But for thousands of youth living on the streets, there's no such thing as home. Out here, it's a predatory world that can destroy lives forever. At Covenant House, we care for homeless and at-risk youth, working in communities just like yours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here, these kids will get a shower, clean clothes, nourishing meals, and a safe place to sleep. Our caring staff teach life skills, offer stability, and encourage kids to believe in themselves so they stay off the streets for good. We're committed to giving lost, scared, and hurting children a place to go, a place to call home. To help or get help, go to safeplacetosleep.org.
How you doing, community? I'm Alexander Hackett, and I'm here today to talk about Community Staffing Agency. I am the owner of an educational staffing firm, and what we do is we staff all the schools in Delaware with substitute teachers, paraprofessionals, janitorial, and even substitute nurse. So if you have a school and you need our services, please contact me. But also, if you're in the community right now and you're looking for a job, please find me. And the way you can find me is by visiting communitystaffingagency.com, but also get into my direct line, 302-252-8982. Please contact me, please reach out. If you need assistance with your school or if you're looking to get into school, Community Staffing Agency is the place to be.
And we're back. Coby, real quick, we just have a couple of things I want to do in this whole political action side. First, last time you reported, you talked about the DNC pick. They was going to have an election. You were hoping that a certain person had gotten in. Did that happen? And how did things go with that?
Yeah. So after 4 days of a regular DNC meeting and then 12 hours of voting, we have a new leadership team. And the new DNC chair is someone who has been a mentor to me on the DNC, Ken Martin. He was the state party chair for the Democratic Farmer Labor Party out in Minnesota. He comes from the Paul Wellstone organizing hub. He is our new DNC chair. He's also very good friends and close friends with Jamie Harrison. So I'm sure those two will continue to work arm in arm together.
Because I know Jamie Harrison was very good on the raising the funds.
Yes.
He was very good in that area.
So that is where Ken's going to need a little help at. And I really do think that Jamie, after he gets a break, much deserved break, he will come back and help out with the fundraising. But I also believe that Ken's going to build a very good fundraising committee around him as well, too.
Yeah, and I do not want anybody to blame the former chair for the loss of Kamala Harris, because in actuality, it was because of some Democrats decided to go against the Democratic Party and not vote and not, support is why I really think it happened. But when it came down to raising that funds and making sure that our message was out there, I think he did a very, very good job. I want to start at the top and talk about Trump for a minute. It's been 3 weeks, Coby, but it feels like it's been 3 years. He has gone through like a windstorm from him making comments and Elon Musk. We've really taken our eye off of what Trump promised us. Trump promised us lower aid costs. he promised us lower grocery costs. Now, I was just in ShopRite. Eggs is $8 a dozen. Even in Walmart, to be very honest with you, the one that is right at the split, everything is still high. No one is really talking about it because of all of his windstorm. How long do you think he'll be able to keep up all of this flurry of stuff that's happening?
Oh, I think he's a master of this, right? So he sows chaos in other places so that he can slide under the door and do whatever he wants. It was funny you brought up eggs. It was a few days after the election, he came out and said, whoa, 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 the president has nothing to do with food prices. So again, you know, he had no intention. He just said whatever was the hot topic to get to people to get their vote or to get them pissed off at Democrats.
Michigan is upset with him right now, especially the Arab, not which community is that? The
Arab American.
The Arab American community. They're very upset with him. They supported him. Some of its leadership publicly supported him. And now they're starting to talk about the fact that he did not honor what he said. Do you really believe they felt that he was going to honor and be better than Kamala Harris as it relates to policy?
No, absolutely not. And when Trump brought Netanyahu to Capitol Hill, even though he has a federal or international arrest warrant for him right now, and they stood shoulder to shoulder, and he announced that the U.S. was going to be putting soldiers in Gaza and completely removing all the Palestinians there. People's hearts broke. But again, we have to fight back against something like that, but Trump was never, ever going to be a better option.
Yeah. And that's why sometimes people got to recognize I'm voting because I don't want this person sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't like neither one, but we cannot have this person. We got a very healthy price to pay. Do you think that Elon Musk has an alternative motive?
Yes, I think Elon Musk owes money to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. He's a billionaire, don't get me wrong, but not all his cash is liquid.
Right.
So again, he has a lot of assets, but he needs another avenue. And why he invested $270 something million into this election. Since Trump was sworn in on January 20th, he has made an additional $1.5 billion. Yeah. So again, his motive is make as much money, but also get him out of debt in other places.
Yeah, and people are not paying attention to that because he has no background clearance, so people can really look into his finances. And now that Trump and him is in charge, he probably will never have to. And what is his title again? Government
director or chair of the Department of Government Efficiency.
No, but they
DOGE.
said what kind of employee is he? They talked about that, and I forgot the name of it. They talked about he's an employee without pay. But they called him, I forgot. But anyway, but he's not been vetted.
No.
And so we have no understanding of it. Do you think TikTok is going to stay in America, one?
Oh, absolutely.
And do you think that Trump is going to make money off of that for the country, one, and two, for himself?
For himself, yes. For the country, absolutely not. TikTok is no longer even discussing potentially selling to an American buyer. Everything's back to normal. You just can't download it here. If you deleted it off your phone, you can't re-download it. All because they sent out a message thanking Trump for stopping the ban. Democrats fell right into the hands of Trump. And I will say everyone who voted on that was a horrible vote that they should not have voted for. And they got their butts kicked by youth who enjoy TikTok, who get a lot of information from TikTok. But it's no different from Twitter. It's no different from Facebook that's selling our data as well too, right? You can't just take away something that is highly popular with a whole generation and then expect them to still vote for you.
Yeah. Do you think that this massive amount of misinformation on social media is what's going to contribute very strongly to the demise of our democracy?
Absolutely. And it's led by Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
And that was the last part of the question. The two people who got the mega microphones and own those type of social media companies. Do you think it was right for the Facebook own CEO to really do away with a lot of safeguards that he did away with?
No, I don't think it was right. But again, he is a CEO of a company that did not want to be attacked by the Trump Musk administration. So again, he did what he had to do to protect his company, but it puts us all in harm's way.
Yeah. Well, moving from the national, I wanted to ask a couple questions about the governor. We are now under Trump's tyranny. Question I wanted to ask is, do you think that Matt will be able to keep us safe from Trump?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I think he will take some very hardline stances against the Trump administration. I hope that the General Assembly members join in and stand shoulder to shoulder with him on that. I know from the local side, I will be, because we have to protect our citizens. And we're already seeing Delaware being attacked. Elon Musk is pushing for businesses to reincorporate in other areas because he's mad at Delaware right now.
That's with Tesla.
Again, we have to make sure that we start planning for the future and planning on how to fight.
Now, the whole notion of us having such a strong surplus,
Yes.
will that help us in days to come?
It will help us to a point, but it will not be lasting, right? So we have to be very strict with the budget right now, especially for these next 4 years.
Yeah. Some of the people who try to act as if they were supportive to Harris and Biden now have shifted over, like Pennsylvania Senator
John
Fetterman. Do you think you're going to find a whole lot more people kissing the ring?
Oh, absolutely, especially in those swing states. That's the Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania.
Trump is going to run over us like nothing before. Last question before we go to our finish for the day is Carney, who is now the mayor for the city of Wilmington. We talked about the governor, and you feel comfortable. Do you feel comfortable with Carney being able to safeguard our city in order to do what they got to do to keep from the Trump effect?
Yeah, I think because of his experience in the federal and state, he will do his best to do that. But again, I think he has a council who wants to work with him, and he wants to work with council. So I think putting aside our differences, we will be able to sit down and really do the right thing. We just have to make sure we have the funding to keep things going.
Yeah, and I'm going to not put you on the spot, but I am going to say this. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to start doing some reporting back. There is some chaos going on inside the infrastructure of the council, and some people are just out of control. Do you think that your president, Mr. Congo, will be able to handle members of his council as the president now that he has the power to do so?
Yeah, so I think he has the power to do it. Again, he won't be able to control everyone, but you already see it right now. We are working more together than the 107th and 108th council, right? So of course you're going to have one or two people who break off every now and then.
You call them renegades.
Yes, but again, overall, we are going to get some good stuff done.
Good. Last but certainly not least, I want to say to all of you who watch us every week, first, thank you. Today is Super Bowl Sunday. I'm looking forward to watching this game. I hope you take some time to look at the game, enjoy, just take a whistle moment and just breathe in, breathe out. Even though you're going to be tense because there's going to be times when the Eagles are going to do something crazy and the other team, which I'm not going to say their name, is going to do something. But I just hope that you would take some time to think about it. And on Monday, after we know who won the Super Bowl, on Monday, let's jump into this political fight. Our lives depend on what is going on now. Right now, in the Treasury, we have a man who we don't know anything about, with a couple of young teenagers and maybe one who maybe or two in the 20s. They have all of our information. They have all of our data. It can create some major problems for us. I want us to start being cognizant of it. And I want us to start talking about what we can do, start organizing, forming, so that we will be able to handle some of the stuff that is before us. Coby, I'm not worried. I'm not scared, but there is some concerns. And the concerns are grave because we are in a tough time and people are not paying it any attention. Anything else from you today, sir?
That's all I have today.
Go Eagles. How do you spell it? EAGLES. LES.
Let's go, Birds.
Eagles. Until the next time, God bless you.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.